A highly anticipated ruling. The Wisconsin Supreme Court struck down the state's 1849 abortion ban today.
Our Wisconsin State Capitol Bureau Chief Vanessa Kelson breaks down lawmaker reaction and how the ruling will impact you.
This ruling is not a surprise given the makeup of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The judges ruling 4-3 with all liberals ruling to repeal the 1849 abortion ban.
So we have the same abortion laws today as we did yesterday.
Brita Gadara, staff attorney at UW-Madison, says this ruling doesn't change abortion policy. It just provides more finality to a lower court's ruling to allow abortions.
The ruling today is that it answers this question that has been a little bit up in the air since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
The court's majority opinion says the past 50 years of laws passed to regulate abortions supersedes the near total ban outlined in the much older 1849 law. In her dissent, conservative Justice Rebecca Bradley writes, the liberal majority, quote, erases a law it does not like.
What the decision doesn't do is affect the state of the law going forward. So the legislature is free to pass other laws.
Senate Minority Leader Dianne Hesselbein says after Wednesday's ruling, Democrats plan to do just that, propose new legislation to protect access.
This was a hard and fought-won victory for the state of Wisconsin.
Meanwhile, the state's Republican leadership
I haven't had a chance to review it yet this morning. I've been working on some other things,
says they haven't decided on pursuing new legislation, but says this decision was an overreach.
It appears that once again the state Supreme Court liberals sort of went rogue and overturned legislative power.
This ruling means healthcare providers can continue to provide abortions in the state for up to 20 weeks after fertilization. But what this case doesn't clarify is whether or not there's a constitutional right to abortion. From the Wisconsin State Capitol, Vanessa Kelson.